President, have you spoken to the Saudis about the U.S. and Washington Post columns?
I have not. No, I haven't. But I will be at some point.
What do you know at this point?
I know nothing right now. I know what everybody else knows, nothing.
Welcome back. That was President Trump earlier today responding to a question about Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, a critic of the Saudi government who vanished last week after entering the Saudi Arabia's consulate in Istanbul. Turkish officials say he was killed there, an allegation Saudi officials are denying. An image from a security camera that appears to show Khashoggi walking into the consulate last week. We've seen no evidence that he ever walked out. A State Department spokesman today said that Secretary Pompeo has spoken with Saudi officials and that the U.S. does not know what happened to Khashoggi. Vice President Pence tweeted that he's deeply troubled about reports of Khashoggi's death, adding, "Violence against journalists across the globe is a threat to freedom of the press and human rights." With me now is someone I don't get to see often in person. It's Richard Engel.
It is good to see you face to face.
Our chief foreign correspondent. Nice to see you, sir. This is alarming, to say the least. Does anybody believe Jamal Khashoggi is alive?
It's possible. There are two working theories in Istanbul among security officials. They are definitely leaning toward one, which is that he's dead. But the other working theory is that this was a rendition, that this was an attempt by the Saudis to grab Khashoggi, to bring him out of the country for interrogation, to work him over, to try and teach him a lesson, to try and change him and convert him, and that rendition may have gone badly, that he may have died in the process, and they suddenly had a body on their hands. So two working theories. One, they meant to grab him and did grab him. The other is they meant to grab him and killed him and then had to dispose of the body.
Khashoggi was a critic of MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, the current crown prince.
Absolutely.
Who's essentially running the country.
And he called him kind of what we're seeing now. He called him impulsive. He said that he didn't think through his decisions, that he was authoritarian. And in his last interview, which he gave to the BBC 3 days before he disappeared, he said he was afraid to go home. He didn't think he could go.
It appears there's more outrage at the Washington Post than there is at the State Department. Explain.
Well, that is a big issue here. There are MBS, the Crown Prince, who's the de facto ruler, has a lot of allies. He has an ally in Jared Kushner. He has an ally to a degree in Israel. He has a strong ally in the UAE. He has a strong ally in Egypt. He has a strong ally in the Trump administration. These are powerful people. These are people who would not like to cause a major controversy to a friend, to someone they hope will deliver a broad, expansive peace in the Middle East.
There's been this working theory that MBS is going to be this pragmatic Sunni leader that is going to make peace with the Israelis and help. He's going to allow women to drive, see, he's modernizing, right? This has been this pragmatic hope, I guess. That's the argument Jared Kushner makes or Prime Minister Netanyahu makes, correct?
He is a dynamic, transformative figure. And MBS is changing Saudi Arabia and is changing the way the country works. Since it was founded in its modern history by Ibn Saud, it has worked one way, where the sons of Ibn Saud, brother to brother to brother to brother, have become kings. It's not what you normally think of as a monarchy. It moved laterally from brother to brother because he had...
Doesn't go down a tree, it goes across the branches, right?
That's just because Ibn Saud had 45 male children, most of which survived to adulthood. The concern now, among all the other members of the royal family, is that now it's going to change. And it's going to go from King Salman to his son, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. Bin Salman means son of Salman, to his grandson and great-grandson, and it would change the monarchy forever, and the rest of the royals would be cut out.
Will Saudi Arabia pay a price if essentially the world community, including the Western allies, can prove they were behind his death?
If they can't find a body, I think it'll be very difficult to make Saudi Arabia pay a price. Because at this stage, it is sort of a he said, she said. The Turkish officials, by the way, mostly unnamed Turkish officials, because the Turks don't want to pick an open war with Saudi Arabia. The Turkish economy is in a practical state of collapse. They're going to pick a giant fight with Saudi Arabia right now. They're putting a lot of pressure on Saudi Arabia. They want this problem to go away. But right now, it's effectively a he said, she said, with Turkish officials leaking to the press. This is what they think happened. There were these convoys that left the consulate. There were these planes that mysteriously took off from chartered planes from Saudi Arabia that left the airport. But they don't have a body.
That American president today that was asked about Jamal Khashoggi said, I've read about reports. He didn't seem to be concerned. He may be concerned. He didn't express concern. He didn't issue a warning to the Saudis. I hope what I'm hearing isn't true. Anything like that.
No, and he was saying, well, I don't know. It's a he said, she said.
Isn't that
but
already
it's
giving?
Not really.
Is that giving a permission slip, or let me ask it this way. What are the unintended consequences? The United States is not calling out Saudi Arabia over this. The United States isn't calling out China over what they've done to the head of the Interpol. Are these related issues or not, in your mind?
I think it might be too broad of a brush to say they're all related. They are to a degree in that this president decides, respects power, respects people who use power, seems to have a penchant for authoritarian leaders. So yes, they're all related conceptually. Mm-hmm. But what I was trying to say is, he's making an equivalency that, the Saudis said they didn't do it, and the Turks say they did. But the Turks also have planes. They have a convoy of vehicles. They have images of Khashoggi going into the consulate.
Evidence.
They have some evidence, which they have been showing to reporters, and all the Saudis so far have said is, we don't know anything about it. He came to the consulate, and then he left, and we never saw him again.
They have never been able to produce a piece of evidence that he's alive. Richard Engel, this is quite the story. I hope you stay on it.
Thank you.
I know you will be. Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Meet the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.